still never forgiven you, you bastard.
Mr. Montgomery turns around, he goes, nice tits.
Turn around. Oh, he goes, what? Get us a gin and tonic while you're over there.
This guy stands up at the back of the ground and goes, hey, he looks like Jesus, but he puts like Mary.
I'm making you look very fucking clever, he says.
Cut! And he's gone, I think you missed out the N.
Now, here's one for you boys. I mean, is it a bit soon to start talking Ryder Cup? I mean...
Never too soon to talk about the Ryder Cup.
I was lucky, I only did one. But I mean, you boys have done... Andrew Coulter, Brookline, 99.
You took
One game.
You took Carlson's spot.
Oh, you only played in the singles?
Tiger Woods.
Thanks for coming.
Hey, we took him to the 16th hole.
Decent
I mean,
effort.
that was a fine effort, considering we only played. That was it.
And that's when he was Tiger Woods as well.
Oh, yeah, I mean, unbelievable. But I mean, you boys have done several. I mean,
Well, Billy's a man. What have you done?
For me, that's got to be one of the greatest sporting events on the planet.
Great week.
Without a doubt.
Yeah, it's, I think outside the World Cup and the Olympics, it's the third most watched sporting event, I think. It's, yeah.
Well, you are Mr. Ryder Cup anyway. How many you done?
16. Starting with Tom Morris Senior.
Was it Brand Junior?
Brand Junior, yeah. 1987, first time Europe won in America, yeah. So.
And he looked 12 years old then.
I'll tell you what, I got on the ferry to Jersey one year. I was 19, and you had to be under 14 to get half price junior for. No bother. She said, how old are you? I said, 13. 13.
But like the bloke
no
you
problem.
work for now, he'd still get on the old junior fare on that ferry, wouldn't
Probably
he?
would, yeah.
Fitzy?
Yeah.
How many Ryder Cups you done?
6.
6?
5 as caddy, 1 as...
Oh yeah, I did one as a Poulter's vice.
Yeah, I don't count that as
No.
boring. Nah,
Good
not
fun.
bo-
I
not
thought it was
boring.
good fun.
Well, you're still there, part of the team.
Yeah, but if you've been in the thick of it, it wasn't the same.
I thought it was really good fun. I loved sitting on that buggy driving him around.
Ah, yeah, I did it at Paris.
We did the one where...
Gin and
Do you
tonics,
remember where
the coffee cup.
Danny Willett's brother said something at the start of the week?
That was 16.
What did he say? I can't remember.
Where he just wrote an article in a magazine slang.
Yeah, and it caused a big stir. And anyway, the crowd all got on...
nasty.
The crowd all got on Danny Willett.
Ruined his Ryder Cup.
Oh, yeah. And he couldn't play, could he? He was all over the place. So Poulter got given the job from Clarkey one day. You know, he says, go out with that match and try see if you can help. Willett out. He's playing with Westy. In the 4 balls, I think. I'm driving the cart, and we're on this one tee, and Danny's hit this shot. He must have hit it 80 yards left, right down near. There's like a concession stand.
It was by the boozer, I saw it.
Yeah. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
So Poulter says to me, he said, you just drive up with Billy and Westy. He said, I'm going to walk up here with Danny. Yeah, right. Okay. So I get about 50 yards away. Do you remember, Bill? And I turn around and say, Poulter. He goes, what? Get us a gin and tonic while you're over there. I mean, you just got, it was just a crack, like, it's just brilliant. You start cracking up, you and Westy.
I mean, I'd like to ask a question, yeah. I mean, see that you've all done that many. I mean, that Paris National, around that first tee looked like a football stadium. The noise must have been deafening there.
It's got better and better every one, hasn't it?
I'd have it there every time, mate. It was that good.
It was a great week.
Everything, the facilities, Versailles. It was just fantastic golf course. Brilliant.
I think next year is going to be pretty brutal, though. Best page black.
Yeah, that'd be tough.
I must admit, it's probably one
Depends how
that
they set that up.
I don't fancy going for 17th time. I think I might skip that one. Yeah, it'll be brutal. It'll be brutal.
To be fair, I'd quite enjoy that.
Well,
Because if you especially, I've been lucky. The lads I've caddied for in the Ryder Cup have all played well. I've never gone there and the bloke's like, he just hasn't got his game, which can happen. Yeah. I've always been lucky. So they've always played quite a bit. I think we've shown a profit most times we've been there. And if you go and you get stuck into it, they'll shut up because you're beating them. But if you start going down, they'll be on top of you.
well, I would think, I mean, I stand to be corrected, yeah, but I think in America you've got like, 5 sort of cities where the fans are pretty brutal, you know. So Boston, New York, probably LA, San Francisco, Chicago. Because I remember we played the US Open there. And first 2 rounds that golf course was brutal. And the first 2 rounds we were paired with Jesper Parnevik and Monty. And we were going up, I don't know what hole it was, 4th or 5th. You know, Monty's marching up there, head down. This guy's walking up the cart path, about 60-year-old. And he's like, you know, they can't say Colin in America, it's Colin. Okay. And this guy's going, Colin, Colin, about 5 times. Monty's. Next minute he goes, Mr. Montgomery. Turns around, he goes, nice tits. I mean, the next day, same sort of scenario. Jesper walking up there. Jesper. Eventually turns around. Guy goes, you got a nanny for me? He went, no, I don't have one. I'm not old enough for you. Because, you know, his nanny was dating Tiger at the time. Yeah. So I think the crowds are going to be pretty brutal there.
Well, I'd have done a Ryder Cup every other week because I don't know what it did to Poulter, but he, apart from one, every Ryder Cup he turned up at, he found his best week of the year. You know, he just played great. So we had lots of conversations about that and what that was and how do we do it and how do you
transfer it to
but
normal
you just couldn't.
PGA.
It was just a different game, you know.
The New Yorkers are loud, but they've actually got a bit of wit about them, some of it. I mean, we play with that. Remember Johan Edfors, a good-looking Swedish bloke? He had the lovely beard going, the long dark hair. We get to the 3rd hole, it's a par 3 that he Bethpay's back or whatever it was. Anyway, crowd are all having a go and shouting and bawling. Edfors hits it on the green about 40 foot. So I'm on the left side of the green with Westwood in the bank. He hits this 40-footer. He leaves it 15 foot short, like. This guy stands up at the back of the ground and goes, hey, he looks like Jesus, but he puts like Mary. I'm on the floor crying like Westwood's absolutely got snot coming down his nose. They got a great sense of humour, but they're all loudmouth gobshites out there. Do you remember the one with Poulter? Where I had you in tears on that tee where he's at that on that part. Italy, I still tell that. Funny. I mean, each group in front of us and there's a backlog, so we've got up on tee. He's carrying for Poulter. And it's a back right pin. And Poulter's at the shot, middle at green. It's only going one way, it's going left, and he's going, cut! And he's gone, I think you missed out the N.
He was on his knees.
Crying.
You've missed an N out, Poulter.
What are these balls, William?
Have a little stir around, Lordy, and pick a ball out. Pick one out with a name on it, hopefully.
Will you put a blank?
No. EE.
The Big Easy.
So that means tell us a story about the Big Easy.
The Big Uneasy. Where should I start? There's 1,000,001.
When did you first meet him?
Oh, that's funny. Because I was caddying for Mark McNulty. And we were playing a Sunshine Tour event in a place called Bloemfontein in South Africa. This golf course called Schoeman Park. Anyway, we're on the range and see this kid. And he was like a walking one-eye. I mean, like this. He could barely speak English.
Oh, pure Afrikaans back then.
So now it's changed then.
So, anyway, watching him, and he had an unbelievable amateur record too, you know, and he burst onto the scene. So I go up to him and I said, hi, my name's Ricci Roberts. And he has this little, well, they call us soties, okay. So it's like, who's this little pommy, you know? I said, my name's Ricci Roberts, caddy for Mark McNulty. I said, you know what, one day if you want to win majors, I'm your guy. It's like, fuck off. Anyway, 5 years later, I ended up caddying for him full time, and then, you know, did 30 years. But
you 30?
Yeah, 30 on and off. I'll tell you what, it made Richard Burton and Liz Taylor look like a bunch of novices. I've had more fucking comebacks than Frank Sinatra. we had this love-hate relationship. But
how many of the offs were on his terms and how many offs were on your terms?
I think 5 were his and 1 was me.
How bad was the one?
Well, I walked off in Phoenix, Arizona about 3 years ago. See ya. Walked in the car park.
Left him on the course.
No, I was going to do it on the course, but I did it afterwards. But then, like I said, we have this love-hate relationship. So I went back and I did the Open Championship.
You did it last year, didn't you?
Yeah.
I saw you there. Yeah.
They arrived straight from America, him and Clarkey, DC. Anyway, he calls me. He said, we're at the course. We teeing off at 6:30. There's a practice round. So I get the clubhouse, there's DC standing outside. He's fucking laughing his ass off. He goes, you two. He says, you two never change, do you? You're back for more. I said, yeah. All right, who else had it go? Yeah.
Oh.
Bjorn.
We've both had a
Billy.
go, William.
All right, let's go with
Oh
Billy.
yeah, there's 2. He's worked for Bjorn and all.
Yeah, okay, well, we'll kick off with Billy, yeah.
Well, I suppose.
I know he broke your heart, but
Yeah. So that's a story in itself. But Royal St George's 2003, still never forgiven you, you bastard. So the first round, he's hitting a bunker on the 17th, second shot, leaves it in there, smacks the sand in anger, chips it out, 2 putts. Leaving the green, he says, "Can you believe I did that?" I said, "Can I believe you did what?" He said, "Made 6 there." I said, "Well, you didn't, Thomas, you actually made 8 because she hit the sand in anger and it's 2-shot penalty." Tom Lehman comes across, yeah, I believe he hit the sand 2 shots. So he made an 8. So he's leading the Open by 3, playing 16. And I'd been out, bought the pins that morning, knew you'd like the length of this table to the right and it were a graveyard, or you'd half a Kent to the left. So it's like, yeah, just hit the TV tower, middle of the green, Thomas, about 30 foot left. Yeah. Sets off straight at the flag and I'm screaming no as it's left the club face. I know where it's going. So, of course, the rest history. He's building sandcastles in there for 10 minutes. Back to his feet. So he doubles that, bogeys 17, loses the Open by a shot.
Ben Curtis.
Ooh, yeah, exactly. So we go to Portmarnock the next week.
I remember this.
Irish Open. So we've gone out for dinner on the Monday night and I'm stroking him like an old golden Labrador, telling him how good he is. I've waited 20 years to wait for a player as good as you. You bounce back and show your peers how strong you are mentally. You win this Irish Open this week. Got beat in the playoff by Michael Campbell. Anyway, he's walked out of there 8 foot tall, feeling like he's ready to take on the world. I've given him a right good pep talk. Just as we're going past Gibney's Irish pub, I said, "Thomas, we're just going here for a nightcap." Well, Thomas don't drink, but I thought, well, I'll have yours as well, you know. So we go through the saloon doors.
Double dip.
The usual suspects are there. Clarkey, Westy, Wuzzy, Ernie. There were a few of the Poulter were there, I think, and about a dozen caddies. Yeah. Goes in there, deathly quiet. Nobody knows what to say to Thomas. He's just...
Oh, they've not seen him since.
He's just blown the biggest tournament on earth, and everybody's a bit like, oh no, Thomas, you know. So Clarkey chirps up, "Have you seen the draw for this week, Thomas?" And Thomas goes, "No, why are we playing together?" I said, "No, you're playing with Doug Sanders and John Van der Velde, you clumsy twat." But then we go to US Open the year after. Now, US Open, he's having a proper meltdown now. Like, it's finally hit him. He's got the demons and everything. All he says to me for the last few weeks were, "You need to get yourself another job. I'm finished. I'm another David Duval. My career's finished. I'm rubbish. I'm going downhill. I'm another David Duval. I'm history. Get yourself another job." Go at US Open. "You need to get yourself another job. I'm history. I'm another David Duval." Tee off, first round of the US Open, going down about the 7th hole. Is about 2 over after 6, usual, you know, it's leaking oil already. Slashes one off the planet to the right, like 80 yards in the Bondi, like provisional. We won't find that. Anyway, we're walking up there, it's over there, so they found it, it's over there, like, you know, walk through this jungle. Big crowd round, like, Thomas now got a face like thunder. And this guy goes, "Hey, Thomas, Don't look so down in the mouth, man. David Duval was over here half an hour ago." I go, "No!" He's like, "I told you we're finished." Oh, yeah. Oh, good old Thomas. Yeah. Done him up like a keeper.
Well, I had 2 brief goes with Thomas. First time I was caddying for Alvaro Quiros in the US PGA, and we'd agreed to finish that week. And Tom, I went to college in Chattanooga, and Thomas, the pro at the honours course at the time, I don't know if he still is, was a Danish lad Thomas knew growing up. We'd missed the cut, so I headed back to Chattanooga, and Thomas phones me from the course. I'd love to start, Thomas. So he said, I'm playing Glen Eagles, Switzerland, Seve Trophy, Dunhill. So, nice start. So we go to Glen Eagles, and he's playing nicely, no question. 5 or 6 man playoff we get in. Mark Foster should have won it, bless him, which would have been his one and only type, but he didn't. Thomas prevails. This is a fucking great start, Lordy. Off to Switzerland we go. Now, if there's ever a bloke you want to caddy for in Switzerland, it's Thomas Bjorn. Nobody controls those wedges better. He shoots 62 last round to beat Westwood and Rory, who I think were 1 and 2 in the world. Win again. I'm making you look very fucking clever, he says. Which, in fairness, he was, because I wasn't telling him what to do with those. He was brilliant. Like, Seve Trophy, he probably plays even better than the two. I mean, he's really playing. Go to the Dunhill, miss the cut. I was the enemy. Yeah. Off a cliff, gone. And we did 2 more events, and then, in fairness, he couldn't play for a while. Whatever was going on, I don't know. And I went to Henrik, which
turned out all right, didn't it?
Worked out. Even Thomas, after 6 months when he started speaking to me again, he did say you might have done the right thing here,
But I think
which was fair enough.
Thomas has been through a lot of caddies on that tour.
There's been a lot of whip marks.
Yeah.
I mean, who is it dropped the bag on him, didn't he? Ken Edding on 17th at Sunset. He dropped the bag, he says, I'm off in. He says, where are you going? He says, I'm finished. He said, well, you go. You put the worst caddy I've ever had in my life. And Ken Edding goes, that's too much of a coincidence, Thomas, and kept going.
He's back working for him at the minute, isn't he?
I've no idea.
You're right.
Oh, my God.
No, I think Ken.
Ken Erin. Yeah, he was there.
Let me have a go. Westy.
Oh, dear. What a player. Got to number 1 in the world, putting like Edward Scissorhands, didn't he? I mean,
He also broke your heart a few times.
yeah, he did, yeah. Brought me out at the Masters. He could have won it a couple of times. Mickles, Phil the Thrill, Turnberry. Yeah, he played fantastic. Could have probably won that by 5 or 6 if I hadn't took him down at my level. But bogeyed 3 of the last 4 holes, 3 putted the last and lost by a shot. And yeah, it was Tom Watson bogeyed the last, which that would have been some story.
That would have been the greatest achievement
in golf ever.
in history, in any sport.
59-year-old, he had it in the bag. 2 great shots in the last. And
He did nothing wrong, did he? He just got a
2
crack
great
bounce.
shots.
It's interesting with Westy getting to 1 in the world at the time, and not his struggle was just 1 club, wasn't it? If he putted well, he won, didn't he? It's simple as that. He just struggled, and at the same time, was it one took up the other with Luke Donald, who did it the complete opposite way.
They were in a playoff at Wentworth.
It was amazing because Luke Donald was, short and crooked off the tee, but got everything up and down from 120 in, didn't
Never
he?
missed a putt for 2 years, Luke. It was unbelievable how good he was.
I caddied for
More than
him.
one way to skin a cat, eh?
So John McLaren got married, obviously going on a honeymoon. And while we're at the wedding, Webb Simpson's firing like a madman in America, and he can catch Luke. It was either the first or second year of the FedEx, but there was still a money list title. And Luke was leading, and Webb Simpson came second and got too close. So Luke then had to play the following week in Disney. And we're at the wedding on the Saturday night. He says, look, I've got to enter. I've got to go now. We didn't know I was going to finish, obviously, because it's for the Sunday, but he's not going to back up. So I fly out. I was caddying for Thomas, because I had to ask for permission, which was fair enough. Thomas obviously no bother. So I toot on out there, and it's your classic resort course and all that game. And it's, if you're on the straight and narrow, birdie fest. But if you miss, there's problems. There's cart paths and bushes and alligators and snakes and fuck knows what. Well, Luke was a bit short off the tee, but he was playing well at the time. Well, his irons and his putting. Like, if it was a tight flag, I'm like, well, 7 will do it. He says, yeah, but if I don't. He said, I'll just hit a little 6. And he'd just hold it from 30 feet past the flag. You just got him on the greens. And the back 9, he birdied the first 6 holes in the last round on the back 9, which then took him way in front. And I've seen it on video. We gave him the wrong club on 15, just got on the green, but you couldn't go long. and it's a 60-footer up over a slope, and about 20 foot out comes off this hill, and I'm holding the flag, and I start laughing because you just know it's straight in the fucking middle, perfect pace, perfect. And I'm just like, fair enough. We finish up, he wins, and he won the money. I did one for him in my life, and that was it. I was like,
Is that when he won the money list on both sides?
yeah, he did. Yeah, he did.
So good from like every time he did miss a fairway, he just chipped it back in, left himself some sort of wedge, got it up. He made very few
Well, if he got
bogeys,
it to 100, you were odds on. If he got it round the green, he might make 3 because his chipping and bunkers especially are unbelievable.
Solid as. Me do
Go
what?
on, Till.
I'll tell you what then, I can see it on here. I'll put this in, TJ, not Tony Johnson. Trish Johnson. I've put one in from my early days because I started, I don't think any of you did, I started on the ladies tour. Worked for Trish, then went and worked for Laura. I haven't worked for many people actually, then went from Laura to Poulter and now doing a bit with Sam Horsfield. But so I thought I'd put TJ in. She was good fun to work for, good girl TJ, very, very similar to Laura. And a little story I have about TJ is she's massive Arsenal fan. And like I just said, these were in the early days, no one had any money. And she tells me, oh, I'm not going to play that French Open, the ladies' French Open. I said, why not? She said, because on the Wednesday night, Arsenal were playing the Champions League in Germany. And I had no way on the earth am I missing that. So,
Oh, proper fan.
yeah. Oh, proper. She went, yeah. Massive Arsenal fan. So I'm thinking, I don't need a week off. Do you know what I mean? I'll lose a week's wages, and she was a good player, so a chance of a decent percentage check. I said, oh, come on, Trish, you've got to play you can't have the French Open off. It was a three-round tournament, but a decent one. You know, one of the purse was okay, and this, that, and the other. And I said, why don't you just go to the Arsenal game, and then come from there to here, and get here on the Thursday, and we'll play Friday, Saturday, Sunday. She said, I can't really do that. I don't get a practice round. I don't know the course. I can't prepare properly. And I said, well, look, let's try it. I'll go and walk the golf course. You know, I'll get all the numbers and the lines. I ain't seen the place either. I don't know where we're going. Can't remember the name of the golf course now. But I talk her into flying on Thursday during the day to get in on Thursday evening to go blind on Friday morning to play the French Open. So I go out there and I walk this golf course, and it's the trickiest blind tee shots, hardly any drop, and I'm thinking,
But rinky-dinky.
no, this is the last thing I needed. It was just, you know, I can only go 220 here and you got to keep it down. It was a tricky golf course. But it just shows you how sometimes this works. So she rocks in, gets in Thursday night, and I meet her for dinner in one of the squares there down in, and she says, well, how's the course? And you know, I'll go, it's all right. Like,
Put a good spin on it.
yeah, not bad. I said, you know, few holes where you can only hit a certain number off the tee and all that. And I said, but you know, I'll let you know. We'll get around there. Anyway, get there. First hole, she goes, oh, where are we going here? You see that guy in the orange hat? I said, you got 225 at him. That's all you can hit it. Oh, okay. So she down there.
Just does it.
Anyway, donk. She has hole in one on the 14th. Don't see that going because even the par 3's blind. Anyway, cut a long story short, 60 or 61. 61, first round, 11 under par. Well, 9 under ends up finishing second in the tournament. We're 21 under or something, but I think. And she didn't know where any of the trouble was. All she knew was, well, he says hit it there that far, so I'll aim there and hit it. And she played. And of course, everyone else knows, well, if I pull it, I'm in the water, and if I push it, I'm in all them. But she didn't have a clue. And sometimes, I mean, you couldn't canvass it, could you? You'd never say to your player, just turn up and play blind. But it's amazing how often that works.
Well, I think the reason also with that is you don't know where the trouble is.
That's
you
what
see
I'm saying.
less trouble,
Yeah.
you know.
I knew where it was, but of course you don't. You know, you never tell a player, be careful, there's water down there.
Yeah, the expectation as well, isn't it? There's no expectations, is it?
No expectations, and she, like I say, won it at a canter.
2013, the FedEx. Henrik's won one of the first 3, so you're obviously in the frame. And if you win at Eastlake, as long as you're in the top 5 back then, you win. which should be a good course for him. None of us have been there, but it's a flusher's paradise, you know that. The problem was we finished double bogey in the third one, and he kicked his locker. Well, the front door went in lovely, but there was a shelf coming back at him about ankle high, which didn't give. So,
Catch him in the shin.
oh, man, I mean, you want to see the state of this ankle. And it's I think there was a week off back then, which might have been handy. I can't. So he's got the wife and kids there, and let's say Henrik can get angry, we're not lying there. He's Swedish, so he's purple and he's in pain. So he's got a bag of ice and he looks at me, he says, tell Emma I need 10 minutes. She'll know what this means. So I go out. So you don't want to see the kids this angry, see his dad this angry. Fair. So I go out and I say, Emma, he said, he needs 10 minutes. She went, oh, okay. So she knew, took the kids away. He's then sitting in the car park with a bag of ice. He's second in the FedEx Cup. And I think it must have been the following week. So he said, look, I don't know. He said, it's killing me. So at the time, I had a room at my mate's place, Brian, who you know, in Atlanta, on a golf course. So I'm going there anyway. If he doesn't play, it's a disaster, but I'm going. Anyway, he rings me, he said, I'll come Tuesday night, but I'm not playing. So he says, you walk it, do a battle plan. So we walk it together Wednesday, just with a chipper and a putter, which actually I quite like doing, especially on a new course, because they're involved as well. You know, as you do, they could see it differently to us, which is great. Well, halfway through the second round, he's 8 ahead. With a slight limp.
Mad, isn't it?
Wins the Tour Championship, wins the FedEx Cup. Wow. And you would never, like all this preparation, you would never prepare like that. But it just shows you. Almost, he played with Tiger the first day and he beat him by 8. They were last match.
But you get the opposite, didn't you, at some of the majors? where they way overdo it. They are 5 practice rounds and and then terrible.
I mean, you get that in these majors.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, you got to have like 15 practice rounds. I mean, come on.
But I always love it when they interview one of the players and they go, so what's the plan this week? Just going to treat it like any other tournament.
Yeah, right.
Of course you do. That's why you've had 5 practice rounds and got here last Wednesday.
So what do you think of this little concept we got going here, this 19th Uncut?
I can't believe it ain't been done yet, actually, something like this. Either with golf, is there one with golfers? Like a podcast because they do the football one, don't they? What's that called? I watch that a lot. Can't remember the name of it. Yeah, Neville, Roy Keane and Righty, and what's that called?
It's Overlap.
The Overlap, yeah. So I watched that one, but there's no golf one, is there, that golfers sit around? And then when you phoned up...
those boys came out to that full swing, but that's a completely different concept.
Yeah, I'll listen to that no laying up for the golf. Yeah. But they're guys that play golf. Now, I guess they're turning into reporters or content masters, but I do enjoy that.
Well, I think for me, I think it's a great concept because I think a lot of spectators are always, the other side of the ropes and they're watching you inside with your man or whatever and having a laugh, pissing yourself. And they go, what are they laughing at? So I think it's great to give...
Well, we all have the same questions when we go home in the pub, don't they? Everyone wants to know the ins and outs of what you do and how you do it. How early do you get there? Do you have to walk the course? What do you have to do? What's that course like? What's that course like?
Do you always get who's the biggest what's it out there? That's the first one I always get.
Yeah.
Who's the biggest wanker? Yeah. I just think it's a great concept to give the fans an inside view of what happens on the golf course.
The truth.
No, I think it's a great idea.
Well, I know we all talk a lot of shit sometimes, but at least
it's something that you do every night on tour, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sitting around a dinner table with lads talking. Yeah, you can't believe what this twat did today, Please don't tell the stories, doesn't it? So. Just a reminder to subscribe to our YouTube channel by clicking the subscribe below. It's completely free and there's nothing dodgy about it, so no excuses.